Hey everyone, I am back with another Project Hospital video. Today I want to focus on Prestige. Prestige is the star ranking system of your hospital. It's your star rating and you can find it down in the bar here. It is a reflection of how satisfied your patients and staff are. So the higher the star rating, the more patient intake you are going to get, and vice versa. If you have a low star rating, the insurance company will limit the number of patients they send you. So even if you have all the departments open, you have pretty decor, if your prestige rating is low, you will still not get a lot of patients. This ties into completing insurance goals, because sometimes they require you to, reach a level of prestige or treat a certain number of patients per day. So all in all, prestige is quite important to advance in your gameplay, and the goal is to really get a higher rating. And today, I actually want to do this little challenge of getting my hospital to a 5-star rating. I'm hoping through this challenge and example, I can show you how you can fix some of the negative modifiers you're seeing, for you to also improve your rating. So before we get started, I already mentioned how this is where you can find your star rating, and you can see by department how much they are contributing to the overall rating of your hospital. You can also look at the statistic report that comes out every day. It shows you the current modifiers from staff and patient, and you can change that, and this is by department, so you can look at the different department reports by clicking into the icon. Let's get started in play. I'll start with emergency. I like to go department by department. So I'll start with the clinic side. You can also see the personal satisfaction level modifiers by clicking into each of the characters' profile. Underneath their picture, they have a satisfaction rating, and it shows more context, what are they dissatisfied about, what are they satisfied about. I typically like to look at the profiles of my doctors, but because patients come and go and there's so many of them, I usually look at the overall report here to see what are the common complaints and praises from the patients. It seems like the first negative is exposed to weather. The reason that people complain about exposed to weather is because you have walls that are not enclosed. So for example here, I didn't build out the walls. This is causing the external environment to coincide with the internal, hence causing exposed to weather modifier. To fix this, I'm just gonna close this wall like this. And just double check to make sure that all my hospital is enclosed. Oh, I got another gap here. And I think we are good. Now another piece that will also cause the exposed to weather modifier is actually related to where your foundation is. And I want to show you an example here with the x-ray room. So x-ray room is currently functional, and I have these unfunctional planned rooms in my plan, and I don't have, these are not operating because they are missing equipment, they are missing staff. But my x-ray room here is working with staff, and I have outlined this entire blue box to be the x-ray. And you see there is some areas out here that is on foundation. It's built on foundation, but it's outside of these walls. Because this piece of the room is outside of the walls, and it's part of a working room, this will cause your staff to complain about exposed to weather as well, despite you have all the walls covering your hospital. What you need to do is either you get rid of this foundation or you build the walls out here. So make sure this is also enclosed by walls. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to, I don't like that extra place, so I'm just going to re-x-rate this. Going back to my clinic, I like to go with the emergency clinic first. I want us to take a look. So her needs are critical. She is hungry, and she thinks the environment is ugly. I'll deal with the needs critical first and the fact that she's hungry. For staff, you want to have staff rooms spread out across your different units and that are more easily accessible, so they don't have to travel so far. In my current map here, I only assign this as a staff room then this is a staff room. So for the purpose of this example, I got rid of the common rooms that I originally built. So what I want to do is I'm going to pretend that I built a new common room here that I'm gonna label as a common room. In your common room, you want to make sure you have fridge. The more fridges you have, the better, because fridges is what the staff use to eat and fulfill their food needs. And you can also include coffee machine. And this is something that only works in the common room. And I'm going to add another table for more of the staff. Okay, and common room fridges, coffee tables, these are for staff only, and hopefully they will go to the common room near them to nourish themselves. And now she is complaining about ugly environment. Let's see if Frank has the same complaints as Karen. For ugly environment, what you see here in my office rooms, this is all the essential items you required for the doctor's office to operate. I didn't put in additional decor. The key is to put a plant in your room. If you want the most efficient decor that's gonna satisfy the need, if you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on decor just for decor's sake, put a plant in the room. The only plus sign currently is Hasboss, and this is an easy add you can do to increase the satisfaction of your staff. How do you do that is once you open a new department and hired a few doctors, you want to go into the management tool, and for each of the department that has a chief doctor position, you just want to assign someone as the chief doctor. And as a result, everybody within this department will have a Hasboss modifier that will contribute to their satisfaction. And as you can see, now that the plants are in the office, she thinks she's in a nice environment. I want to take a look at the patients. Patients, they are comfortable, their needs are reduced, there's a short wait, they are exposed to weather, which we change, and they couldn't sit. That's a complaint. And if I take a look at my waiting room, I see there are a lot of them who are standing while waiting, so I don't have enough chairs in my reception area, and that's what I'm going to change. I'm going to add more chairs. So couldn't sit seems like a big deal for a lot of the patients. It's a double negative. So I hope that now we have more chairs, that will be fixed. Let's take a look at him. He used to think that it was an ugly environment, but now he thinks it's a nice environment thanks to the plants. He couldn't sit previously while he was waiting, and he also couldn't dry hands. Couldn't dry hands relates to the bathroom, so let's address that. It should just be an easy fix by including some dryers. And you can actually put dryers on top of the sink. It looks hideous, but it works. So hopefully that fixes that. I think we've fixed as much as we can for emergency. I'm going to move to another department. Medical labs and radiology. So my emergency currently is still at 0 stars, so let's hope they get better now that we made the changes from a clinic side at least. Radiology, let's look at that since I have radiology here. So radiology, clicking on technician, belly filled, rested thanks to the common room, exposed to weather, has boss. Ugly environment is the main negative modifier that we have not addressed for them. And so let's add some plants. It's the same idea as with the clinic doctor's office. Now I'm going to go to my trauma center. This is my trauma center. This is the doctor's office and the nurse's station. What does my nurse think? She couldn't dry her hands. Her belly is filled. She's exposed to weather. She's bored. And she had a standing lunch. Oh my god. Okay. My trauma center doctor is very unsatisfied. Couldn't dry hands is another one. Ugly environment seems to be another one. So let's first address their couldn't dry hands. They probably went to the washroom here, and I only had 2 or 3 hand dryers, so that's not enough for the amount of toilets and sinks that's here, especially if all the dryers are used, they couldn't dry their hands. I'm going to put in more hand dryers. I'm hoping that would be good enough. For doctor's office, on-call rooms, sorry, not doctor's office, on-call rooms, just getting a plant in there won't do the trick. As you can see, I already have a bookshelf in the on-call room, and clearly they don't think bookshelves are pretty. They think it's a still ugly environment. They even got windows and an ensuite bathroom, but they don't recognize that. The thing that will make them think that the environment is pretty is first, well, a plant. And believe it or not, a couch is what I found to be the most effective. I've putting again radio in there. It doesn't work. It's just purely decor. Clearly bookshelves are not working. I am going to put in a sofa. And we can do a compare and contrast. So I have the ICU doctor's office, on-call room, and my on-call doctor also thinks that he's in an ugly environment. So I'm just gonna put in a plant without a sofa, and we can see the difference that a couch has in the doctor's office. He thinks he's in an ugly environment, so now we're just gonna put in a couch. Moving to my wards, so coming down here, I have the diagnostic room for my surgery, and I have my general surgery high dependency unit here with the regular hospitalization wards here. And sometimes I just like to click into these patients that are just lying in the beds to see what they think. So professional care, that's a nice staff. Those are important things you can think about when hiring people. You want to make sure you don't have mean staff. And to see that, you can click into a staff, and when you hire them, you can see the hidden perks. And there are this one, Charles, he gives a very pleasant, nice staff modifier. That is a plus for the overall satisfaction, but there's the opposite of I think it was like a monkey or something, so it's a mean staff modifier. So once a patient interacts with this mean staff, their satisfaction level is going to decrease because they think the staff is mean. I typically like to avoid mean staff modifiers. Now going back to the patient, so he thinks the environment is ugly and he is bored. What about the other HDU patients? Linda thinks the environment is also ugly, and David is bored and the environment is ugly. So let's improve that. For an ugly environment, plants don't work in hospitalization rooms. I've tried. The key I found is actually a bed socket. This. And you don't need to put it in all of the beds if you don't have the funds to do so. You just put it into onto one of the beds. So I'm gonna add one here for my high dependency unit, and I'm gonna add one here for my regular ward. And let's see if that does the trick. Look at that already. He thinks it's a nice environment. Let's look back at Linda. There we go. Nice environment, even though she doesn't get a bed socket. Same with David. And let's look at the regular wards. Frank thinks that he is in a nice environment. That's great. And let's fix the modifier called bored. I've tried putting in radios and TVs in the room. They do not fix this bored modifier. The key to this fix is actually a couch. I'm just gonna add a couch. Basically, patients who are bored, they go to this couch and they go on their phone. Then they become entertained. It's very sad that they can only be entertained with their phone, but that seems to do the trick. Hey, look at that, he is entertained. Perfect. I am going to let the game run a bit and see how the star rating or prestige level changes. So currently I am focused on the clinic side, and look, we are already close to the 3-star mark. It looks like emergency is still on the low end, while all our other departments has improved. We're almost nearing 5 stars. I am pretty proud. So the one thing about ICU that I also did not figure out and I would love to know, if you know, please leave a comment, is about ugly environment. I have tried a lot of different things and we can add the bed socket in together. But bed socket alone does not fix how people perceive their environment. And I've tried multiple different things, plants, whiteboard. You can see I have a whiteboard here, added plants, added in couches, and it hasn't worked. I don't know what can help fix the ICU issue, and this is ICU isolated issue only. So yeah, if you know, please let me know. The other one I want to point out is modern bed. So compared to observation room and the other wards, ICU have the modern bed, and that does give a plus modifier, increases the satisfaction from the patient. So if you want an easy fix and you have the funds, you can of course use a modern bed as opposed to just a regular bed. We're close to 5 stars. I'm very proud of bringing this hospital back from the ground. I hope this was helpful and interesting. Please let me know in the comments if you have other tips or like to see anything else related with Project Hospital. Thanks for joining me on my journey today, and thanks for watching till the end. I'll see you next time. Bye!